was 2004's World of Warcraft. And MMOs in genre, your EverQuest, your RuneScapes, right? The MMO spin-off of the Warcraft RTS series, World of Warcraft made a crap load of money. So much so that they just abandoned the RTS aspect and just decided to make more expansions. It was essentially an infinite money printer. But there were caveats. Infrastructure wasn't right in 2004, had like dial up and stuff. And Warcraft is already one of the most storied established IPs in PC gaming. There were limitations to this, even though the reward was recurring revenue, player retention, and predictable cash flow, right? There were games like Fortnite and Dota, then Destiny and Warframe. Games that really like use the live service thing to gain money, but nothing really like put a slap on the face and say, oh, make every game live service now. Because Fortnite was that slap in the face. It was the wake-up call to the game industry where you need to make a live service game if you want to survive. Fortnite didn't just succeed, it obliterated every financial rule the industry had. It was free to play, cosmetic monetization, infinite updates, constant crossovers, zero entry cost, billions in revenue. Minecraft, the best-selling game of all time, made around $10 to $12 billion of revenue over 16 years. That is an absurd amount. And Fortnite made $9 billion in an eighth of the time. Can you guys even imagine that? Imagine the best-selling game of all time making $10 to $12 billion. And then this new kid on the block releasing in 2018 decides to just make almost all of your money in 2 years. People don't understand how absurd this is. Fortnite generates more money than entire publishers. Fortnite could buy Ubisoft. Live service after Fortnite didn't just become a business strategy, it is now a religion. It is the holy gospel of cash flow, of money, of player retention. And of course, risk and reward. Most live service games flop. Dev cycles, constant servers, this and that. It's absurd, right? But here's the thing. You can hit a jackpot. And if you hit a jackpot, you can do anything you want. Hoyoverse. They weren't called Hoyoverse. They used to be called MiHoYo. They were a small Chinese gacha game developer on mobile. Fast forward now, when they made their hit gacha game Genshin Impact, they are now possibly the leading Chinese video game company in the world, outside of like Tencent, for God's sake. Epic Games, oh yeah, they went from they made Unreal Engine and Gears of War into trying to compete with Big Daddy Steam, the gaming marketplace. All from the backs of Fortnite. We can go back to that chart. 97% of Epic Games' revenue was Fortnite in 2018. 88% in 2019. Like, it is absurd. Their entire portfolio is one video game. Not to mention stuff like Riot, a bunch of misfit Dota devs decided to go make the biggest esport in the world. And PlayerUnknown just turning into PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, getting a job at Tencent and having a net worth in the millions, all because of one live service hit that eventually made billions. Because here's the thing, you don't have power to the players. The company controls the value for all things within the game. Skins, battle passes, etc. They're all on their terms. They don't got to discount nothing. They only discount on their terms. And if you buy an in-app purchase, they get all that money. They get all the V-Bucks. Every single money that you spend on V-Bucks, Epic Games gets that cash. They don't have to play around with 30% marketplace cuts or discounts in order to be more competitive. They just decide to eliminate the competition by forcing you into their economy. And it's a ridiculously easy buy-in considering that most of these live service games are free to play. The game can disappear, your purchases already have zero value, your time investment becomes a sunk cost fallacy, and you're financially/emotionally leashed. It is digital serfdom, essentially. Did I already say essentially? I think I gotta stop saying essentially a lot. But anyway, globalization. A single player game sells once. And if it's a large buy-in, think about it, right? If a game costs $60, $70, that is like 90% of the world that can't buy your game because of import taxes and regional pricing. Say bye-bye Indian market. Say bye-bye Southeast Asian market. Bye-bye African market. They literally cannot afford to buy these games, let alone a whole console. Did you know that a PlayStation 4 was like triple the price in Brazil that it was in America due to import taxes? It's absurd. So free-to-play live service games are perfect for this huge glut of the population that can only really be monetized towards small offers of, $5, $10, $1, $2. The more regions, the more consistent your income becomes. It was internationally inevitable, Fortnite. You had one launcher in one store with one cosmetic shop and billions of people. You literally just cannot get those numbers with a $60 premium game. And of course, the last reason, live service is sexy, all right? Because here's the thing, game development is already absurdly risky. 3 to 5 year dev cycles, budgets ballooning, it's like 50 million, 200 million, no guarantee of actual success, not even a guarantee that your game's going to be released. Remember StarCraft Ghost, anybody? Any StarCraft fans? And most premium games lose money. Publishers are already sweating bullets every launch day because if your game flopped, your company goes kaput. The risk was already there, but live service added a chance for a jackpot. You know what I'm saying? Come on now, because let's be real now. It's just sexy. You get predictable revenue, no discount pressure, no reliance on launch weekends, infinite monetization. You get to use all the sexy words like FOMO, monthly active users, retention rate, which makes it very much more lucrative for investors to invest in your game, because video game investors are already some of the riskiest, or some of the riskiest in the business. They will just take absurd risks on things because they know that gaming, much like art and book, like movie industry and the book industry, are absurdly risky because they're art projects. But they'll still do it because the opportunity to get a live service game up and going is endless. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that, listen, live service is here to stay, all right? Because the formula is unbeatable if it works. You get ridiculous revenue, no limits to monetization, there's no secondary market, there's no discounts, there's no one and done sales, there's no beginning nor end. You get direct control over players and global scalability. The pitch is too goddamn good, and the reward is just too big, and the industry is too risky in order to do I'm gonna make a AA game, I'm gonna make a single A game, right? The industry is too risky to play safe, essentially. If you're going to be in the game industry, you might as well go all in. Because if most games won't recoup their offering, then you might as well spend big in order to have a chance to win big. Alright guys, this is my video. Hope y'all subscribe, do all that. Hope y'all watch the whole video so I can get my retention rate up. But yeah, see you guys.